I know it seems like there's no time to have your me time, but there is. Learn to say no once in a while, you guys. You just need to sneak off for a hike in nature, and if you can say no to one or two things, guess what? You can escape and go in nature. Go by yourself, sit under a tree, and just close your eyes and sit still. Okay, you can hug the tree, that's even better. But sit quietly and listen to all the sounds in nature and just breathe. Just breathe in, and with every breath in, just feel all the goodness and the joy coming into you. And with every breath out, just feel all the toxins going out and all the stress going out. But get into nature to recharge. It's a must.
The Vidal Speaks podcast.
Episode 98, It's a Me Speaks. Vidal Speaks vision and how to maintain your health and plant-based diet during the holiday season. Welcome to Vidal Speaks. My name is Deborah Vidal, former 11-year LPGA golf pro turned classical homeopath, certified plant-based nutritionist, and wellness coach. Each week here on Vidal Speaks, we bring you knowledge, inspiration, or natural remedies to help you take charge of your health and feel your best. I believe health is freedom and knowledge is power. So tuning in each week will give you the power to take steps towards freeing yourself from the chains that hold you back from having the energy to do all you want in life. No matter where you are in your journey of wellness, Vidal Speaks can help. I promise. Hi, Vidal Speakers. Wow, is time going fast or what? It always does this time of year, and I feel like the holiday times go by just too fast. I can't believe it's almost December. Today's show is a Me Speaks, and that's because I am planning on taking December off. And so I wanted to use this last show of the year just to chat with you guys about how things are going with this podcast and to talk to you about some of my future vision and plans with the show. So don't skip this part of the show because I want to hear from each and every one of you guys. You can just email me and tell me how you like the show this year and what you've learned or how you feel about my ideas regarding the changes or plans that I have for the future. However, just because today is a casual day doesn't mean it doesn't have a powerful message. Of course not. I want you guys to always be learning. I wanted to speak about managing our health and our vegan diet through the holiday and Christmas season. That's because so many people find social times the most difficult time to stay on track with their plant-based eating. So I thought it'd be a great idea to talk about this, the second half of the show. But please listen to this first half and don't just skip to the second half because I really want to talk to you guys about my ideas for the future of the Vidal Speaks podcast. Now, you know, the holidays are just difficult times for us to continue to eat healthy or stay on track with our plant-based diet. So I thought the tips and ideas that I could give you will help you sustain your plant-based diet through the holiday season in a much easier way. And I can share some of what I do to give you guys some ideas about how not to get overstressed or sick so you end in bed with the flu. Gosh, it's going around already, you guys. That's no fun because the holidays are here to enjoy. And I realize more than ever now that so many don't like the holidays because they eat too much, spend too much, feel too obligated, and then you lack sleep and you get sick. That's crazy. I want to help change that for you with some tips and suggestions today on how you can still eat healthy and find time to treat your body right, to stay healthy enough at least to have fun and enjoy this wonderful season. But before we talk about all that, let's talk about this podcast first. So if you're ready, let's go talk about the future of Vidal Speaks. Well, let me start by telling you how the show's been going. I've really enjoyed this year, and I'm very proud when I look back and I see how that I managed to do an interview or a Me Speak every single Wednesday since I started this show in February of 2016. And I release every Wednesday at 5 a.m. and I've been on time every single week. It's been a lot of work, lots and lots of work. Do you guys know what goes into a podcast? Oh my God. Well, let me tell you a little bit, and I'll keep it short because I don't want to bore you, and we've got a lot to talk about. Well, first it starts with an idea, and I get ideas millions of times every day. But then I go research that idea, and I look for the best expert, and that can take hours and hours or days and days. And then I try to hunt down an email or a phone to contact them so I can invite them to be my guest. And as you know, no one has phone numbers anymore, and especially not listed, so it's usually by email. And many times I have to email someone in the company, but not the person that I'm looking to get in touch with. And then I get turned down because they don't get my plea for the interview. And believe me, I plea many times. But anyways, if they say yes, then I jump for joy. And if they say no, I'm too busy, I'm sorry, then I cry. And sometimes they don't answer and I just frown. But you get the point, right? If you don't get a yes, it's hard because I already spent so much time to find that expert. Then once I get them to make a date and a time to meet them, I do a tons more research because I want to list all the things I want to be sure to discuss with them during the interview. It's kind of like a very extensive outline. Many times by the time I do the interview, I don't even need my outline because it's all in my head from doing all that work. And I just am very clear with their work, so I know already what I want to ask them. And all that research and work just allows me to do the interview in a very natural way and let the conversation just flow because I'm very familiar with their work by then. Next, I have to record my parts of the show. And since I'm a practitioner and not just a host, I have lots to teach you guys, to tell you, or to share with you guys. So I really want to use this time to teach and think about things. And hopefully I don't just ramble on. I try to make my parts of the show very much thought out. And I try to add to the interview, not just fill time. And then I have to send it to an editor. And yes, I pay a lot for this, but I can't manage to do it myself anymore. Editing means that they put together the pieces of the show, including the music in the way that I tell them to, and the way that I had been doing it for many months before I even used editors. I can't do the show without them anymore because when I did, I just had no time to live my life. So I'm very grateful for them, but editing is not cheap. And in the end, not only did I give up my practice and its income to commit to do the show, but now I pay out every week for the show to happen. That's why I ask for donations, and if any of you out there can help, you know I always appreciate it. My Amazon banner is one way that you guys support the show, and that helps, but honestly, it only brings about $30 to $50 in a month. I'm not complaining. Every penny helps, but it's far from covering expenses. So now that it's been almost 2 years, my 2-year anniversary of the show is February, I think it's February 14th, Valentine's Day. But now, after almost 2 years, I think most of you know that I'm very committed to helping others. And I think most of you know by now that I'm a person that has high standards. I want to heal everyone. I want to help everyone. And I don't want to have any casualties, as they say. I have big ambitions and big goals to heal the planet, including the humans and our animals. I can't die knowing I didn't spend my life energy to do this work. Every person I help, every animal I save, or anything I do to help the environment makes me feel like I'm living my life path and contributing in a way that feels right for my soul. Sadly, we need to make money to live. Isn't that horrible? I wish we could just give out and not have to worry about making money or paying bills. Don't we all, Deb? Well, that's just not the case. But I always have believed if you do the work you're meant to, then money will follow. I've just never been a money-first person. Maybe that's why I'm not rich, but that's not what rocks my boat. I like helping people and spreading the truth and watching people change their own lives from learning to take responsibility of their own health and decisions. I love saving animals and showing how nature can heal all of us and save our environment. I love eating healthy and sharing great, no-kill, environmentally safe, yummy vegan recipes with everyone. Yes, I'm a very passionate person. I'm also a very optimistic person, although today all of our optimism is being challenged, isn't it? That's because we're just seeming to go backwards in our environmental laws, and medicine is crashing, and too many are dying from not knowing the truth, and they're just following doctors' orders. So I want to use my passion to teach you guys what I've learned on my journey here. Most people that know me will tell you that I'm always a happy person, and I'm not often in a bad mood. But I can tell you that that doesn't mean I've not had my hard times. Far from it. I had my horrible accident at age 11, and since then was left with these back issues and migraines. I lived with horrible pains from those migraines for 40 years till I've healed them. For 10 days a month, I was in agony, and many times I really wondered if I could continue. But I always believed I would cure them, and I did. Thank you, homeopathy, Dr. Master, and Dr. Lee. But I hung in there and believed, and it paid off. I've been through divorce and breakups. I've lost everything I've owned 3 times and started over. My life story in this regard could really be a horror movie, you guys, I promise. I've lost friends, a lot of them. I lost my sister, my mom, and so many people I truly loved in this lifetime. And as you know, this is always a heart-wrenching challenge in life. So I'm not optimistic because I had an easy life so far. I'm optimistic because at my core and soul, that is who I really am. That is my constitution, as we say in homeopathy. I won't give up. I keep trying because I believe in nature, and I believe that nature can heal us. But the sad thing is, we're killing nature, and so it's challenging to stay optimistic. But the way I do it is to focus every single day on helping others and telling them the truth so we can create a movement from healthier choices and our better health. You guys know I believe health is freedom and knowledge is power. That's my saying. If we don't have the knowledge, then we're powerless and at the mercy of our doctor's advice, which is often more toxic and harms us even more. If we understand and we learn the truth about how our body works, then we can make decisions that we can live with and to heal ourselves. Once we get well or feel better, then we're free to have energy to help others and our planet and animals. And guess what? That energy is contagious. For sure, the more you give out, the more you get back in life, and that, I can say, is the truth. But we need knowledge and health to feel truly free. So having said that, I think you guys know I'm committed to this work after almost 2 years of doing weekly episodes on time. I wanted to do this for a couple of years before I reevaluated or made any decisions about the show. And I'm now at that point, so I want to discuss with you guys in person my thoughts by looking in the rearview mirror. First of all, did you guys know that there's 2,000 new podcasts being submitted to iTunes every day? And although they say the world of podcasting is growing, which I believe that it is, and they say it has not reached its peak point by any means, but there's so many shows out there to listen to, and it's just so hard now to get exposure. I think it's awesome that we have so many choices, but relying on iTunes to rank you by reviews and downloads and subscriptions has been so frustrating for me. I think you guys know that by now. First, they make the process of reviews impossible. Honestly, I've had at least 60 emails of listeners or friends saying, I've tried and tried to leave you a review. I just can't do it and I'm giving up. Really? They can't just put a review button right next to your little logo and say, click here for review? I mean, really, that's crazy. It's so difficult. But you know what? In the iOS 11, they did make it a little easier. If you just go find my show either in the search box of the Apple Podcast app or if you're already subscribed, and then just go to that page when you click on my logo where you just see all the episodes and keep scrolling down. And somewhere in between the episodes, you'll see a button that says review. So if you haven't done so and you want to do it now, that'd be a nice Christmas present. But there's shows in the What's Hot category, which are like the top 50, and they haven't even recorded an episode for a year. And in the top 200 category, I mean, really, there's shows in there that haven't had any action for 5 years. It just makes no sense. So I decided just not to get all caught into that. And I want to just rely on you guys to pass the show around and bring more listeners because, the grassroots effort is always more fun. And if that's how they're going to rank me is only by my downloads and my reviews, well, I feel like you guys can pass the show around a lot better than I can just keep begging for reviews, although I'll keep trying. It's just not easy. But at least be sure that you're subscribed to the show, and please always share it with friends or anyone you know that's sick or you think would love to learn from the show. Next, after 2 years of doing a weekly episode, and now after 98 episodes, I now know what it takes to have this commitment. This is the hardest part for me. It's the knowing I have to have my episode done by a certain time and day. There are some weeks it's easy because I get a lot of people saying yes to my invitation. And then I do the interviews and I get them in the bank, as we say, and I might get 5 shows in the bank. And that gives me a little time to relax and I can afford some time to rest and feel like I have my own life. I'm never truly just relaxing because I'm always doing research and looking for the next guest, but it gives me less time pressure on my back. But most times I'm going week to week and I feel the pressure to have the show ready. The show's not the pressure. It's just having to meet that schedule that's the tough part. And most of you guys out there likely listen to other podcasts, and there's shows that are 20 minutes and some that are 2 hours or more. There's some that post on a regular basis like me every Wednesday or every Sunday or every Thursday. And there's others that just post whenever the next one's ready. And there's some that do weekly or monthly or whenever or yearly or twice a month or every other week. Everyone has their own schedule. And when I started this, I thought it was best to be regular because I wanted you guys to know that I was serious and committed. I knew it would be hard and it would be a very scary commitment because I had no real idea how much work it was at that point, or if I'd get anyone to agree to speak to me at all. But I knew that I could do it if I set it as my goal, and I have done it, as I have never missed 1 week, as I said. This year, I decided to take December off to work on things I've not had time to do and catch up with life a bit, and mostly to enjoy the holiday season, which is my favorite time of year. But I do have lots to do behind the scenes with the show in December, so I'll be working a lot. But I'm really proud I've kept my promise to bring you guys a show each week, and I think it's really helped you guys know how much I care about helping everyone out there. So now I reevaluate and I ask, can I continue this weekly schedule or should I change? The funny thing is, when I listen to the podcast gurus who do all the stats, they say the most popular shows are not the ones that post every single week or with some regular schedule. Some do it when they want, some do it on a regular basis as I did, some do it every other week or twice a month, and others do it in a series where they kind of bank 12 shows and then they release them all at one time, or maybe one a week until the 12 are used up. And then they take a rest until they get 12 more shows in the bank. It's kind of like the Netflix series idea. And one of the main reasons I've thought about changing is because I want to do more with you guys. I have so many ideas. I want to form a group and do some teaching. I want to teach you guys about some homeopathy, how to use it in your life and with your friends and family. And I would love to do some cooking videos and some fun videos like video blogging. I want to do some group fasts or cleanses where we can all blog about it together. I want to write a book. There's so much I need to do and want to do. But I have only 4 days a week that I can dedicate to this passion, and that's not enough time to do a weekly show and anything more. So that just made me think of changing the frequency. In some ways, I'd just love to release a show when I get one, the no pressure approach. But that's hard because editors don't work like that. So the next no pressure choice is to produce the series of shows like I was talking about. That means I wait till I get 11 because that's my lucky number, not 12. And I get 11 shows done and then I can post them. I can post all 11 at one time and you guys watch them as you have time to, or I post one a week for 11 weeks and then I just keep going. And doing it this way means maybe I would do that 2 or 3 times a year, meaning I post 22 or 33 shows. That option gives me a little more time to do other things, and I don't have to post until I get those 11 done. So it really is a much less pressure approach. But I'm curious how you guys would feel about this. Can you write me and let me know? Look, the other option is to do a show every other week instead of every week. That lessens the pressure, but it doesn't really get rid of it. And in the end, that really only gives me like 24 shows a year. So if I chose the series approach, I have the ability to actually do more shows if I wanted to than committing to every other week. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to make my own decision because I have to make it work for my life, but it really does matter to me what you guys think. Maggie, who's an avid Vidal Speaks listener and now my friend, when I told her about this idea, said, "Oh no, what am I going to do on Wednesdays?" So that's tough because if that's how you guys all feel, well then, that's hard. But I still need to make it work for me. And I'm not saying I'm going to change, but at some point, whether it's the beginning of the year or partway through the year or anytime next year, I just may decide I need to make this change. But I'm still curious what you guys think about it. I know maybe some of you would prefer that I do a weekly episode, but maybe if you realize that by taking this next step to change the frequency that I would be able to do more things with you guys, then maybe that would seem like a better choice for you. But anyway, can you guys email me and let me know how you feel about this because I'm really curious. Okay, now let's talk about money, sponsors, and donations. I need to be creative to find a way to make this also work financially. I can't go on forever putting out each month on my own to make the show happen. So this year, I'm really going to focus on asking for help and getting more donations and personal sponsors instead of waiting and relying on companies that will only come to you when you have 5,000 listens a week. And that's not easy with all the shows out there today because the podcast gurus tell me that 80% of all shows only have 180 listens after 30 days of being up. That's crazy to me because that's nothing. And I want to reach 1 million people to help them. That's the main reason why I want to reach 1 million people. But this show has way more than 180 listens after 30 days, but still it's far away from 5,000 listens an episode. And I love the grassroots approach. I like to be in contact with you guys. I like people to help because they love the show and they want to support it with a donation. I hate the idea of ads or managing ads, and it's just not my style. I'd much rather dedicate a show to one of you guys or to your company rather than have some commercial company that I don't even really know. This month, when I set up my Patreon account, I can then ask all of you that can to help support the show via this very cool site. The nice thing about Patreon is that you can commit to a small amount, like $5 a month, or to any amount you want. Eventually, I will offer things to bigger donors, and a certain amount of a donation would qualify to be a sponsor of an episode where I would announce your name, your story. But what I even love more is maybe we could do a chat for part of the show to talk about how you're incorporating what you're learning on this show into your lifestyle. Or you could just talk about your business or service that you do, or if you have a product that you sell. But I just think it would be cool to use your sponsorship as a way to just chat in person on the podcast and sell whatever it is you need to sell, or talk about how you've used the information to help yourself. That would be so cool and fun and way more personal for me than having a commercial sponsor. And last month when Tiffany made a really generous donation, we were chatting back and forth by email, and she just recommended that I reach out to everyone out there and that people would be willing to step it up because they love the show. So I'm going to do my Patreon account in December, and then hopefully I can get some of you guys to help support the show. I would so appreciate that. It would be a great help. And if any of you out there are interested in sponsoring an episode of the Vidal Speaks podcast, please contact me personally right away. Okay, lastly, what's in the plans for the future? Lots. As I mentioned earlier, I want to do some videos. Did you guys see my lunch break live video I did for the Jane Velez Mitchell's lunch show on Facebook Live? Oh, if not, you guys have to go to the Vidal Speaks Facebook page and you'll see it. It's pinned right at the top. I'd love to do more like that. Her show's only 15 minutes, so it's fast, great, yummy food videos that are so fun, and it's great for you guys to learn like that in person. So I'd love to do more of those, and I'd love to do more homeopathy teaching for you. I shouldn't say more because I haven't really done that much, but I'd love to do some little groups where we do some homeopathic remedy learning, because I want you guys to really feel more confident in how to use remedies to treat yourself, friends, family, and your pets. Anyways, there's lots we can do. We can do that through a closed group where we can also do some detoxing and cleansing together and talk about it. There's so much on my plate that I want to share with you guys. I also want to write a book. I feel like I have a few of them in me, but oh my God, talking about time consuming. Lastly, the thing I've been working the hardest on that I want to tell you about is I'm putting together a detox kit to sell. I've worked on this for 2 years since I started the show. Actually, it's really many more years than that because it was for myself and my patients. But I learned so much more as I walked the path, and now I feel like I'm finally there to offer a great, real possibility to help people heal and to help those healthy to feel better and to detox in order to stay healthy for many more years. I'm the most excited about this work this year. And you guys know I'm the detox queen. You know my philosophy about disease by now, but just in case you don't, I believe almost every disease is caused by toxins and toxin overload. Part of my own personal life journey to find my own wellness has been to truly learn how to detox because I was sick from all those pesticides on the golf courses. I was getting chronic sinus infections, and soon I was sick with one every month, which finally led to lung issues, then pneumonias, and feeling like I had no energy, a chronic fatigue kind of feeling with big-time headaches. But after leaving the tour, I searched high and low in my studies to learn everything I could about detox. And after all these years, you guys, I can tell you that I think I can say with confidence now that I truly understand how to properly detox. And I say properly because if you don't do it right, you're putting yourself at a huge risk of recirculation and filling your brain up with more toxins. It's scary, and I learned detox is something to take very seriously. I think there's only a handful of people really in the world that truly understand it. I've been on this journey for 20 years now. I feel I've finally arrived, and now I can help you guys detox properly and get well. I'm not going to say much more about this, but I do want to tell you that starting next year, hopefully when I resume, that I'll have my kit ready to buy. It's a 2-month detox kit. I'm really excited about it because it's a homeopathic detox, and that works much deeper than supplements. Anyways, I'll do a whole episode on the details of detoxing and I'll announce it then, and that should be right after the beginning of the year, or at least hopefully. Okay, you guys, so as you can see, I have lots on my mind about the show. One thing I hope you know by now, though, is that I love my show and my time with you guys. I really want to do more with you guys and connect more in as many ways as I can. I truly want to help all of you out there get well or feel better. I think you also know by now that I tell you the truth when so many others out there are afraid to do that. But this is key because how can you make responsible decisions when you're being lied to or the truth is hidden? I will continue to tell you the truth and to share with you the importance of detoxing to find your health again and to have any chance in life to live a long life. I promise to be your support system on your personal journey of health, and I look so forward to doing much more with you guys over the next years. Well, let's take a little break, and then we'll come back and speak about how to maintain your health and sanity, yes, sanity, and your plant-based diet during the holiday season. It's such a time of stress, and people really get run down, so I've got lots of good ideas for you. So take your break and stretch, get a glass of water, a nice cup of hot chocolate or hot detox tea. And while you do that, please remember that it's the holiday season and you're going to be buying some things from Amazon, I bet. And if you do, you know how happy you'd make me if you would use my Amazon banner from the vidalspeaks.com website. I'd love you for that. Anyways, you guys know I appreciate that. And if any of you out there are interested in making a Christmas donation, you can either PayPal me directly at contact@vidalspeaks.com, or you can go to the website and hit the donation button and donate through Stripe. And the only other thing I want to ask you to do is please share this show with your friends. Make sure that you're subscribed first and then share it with at least 4 or 5 friends before the year end, okay? All right, you guys, now let's get back to the fun part of the show and talk about how to keep our sanity and our health and our plant-based diet during the holiday season. I think you'll all agree that so many people fall ill during the holidays. Why is this? Yes, it's winter, and colds and flus go around this time of year, but I feel it's much more than this. And I think it's because so many people get run down and they're just trying to do too much with so many commitments and parties and shopping, family obligations. Our stress levels climb. So we need to have a better plan this year. We all know that no matter how much is on our plate, we'll all feel challenged over the holidays. We overdo, overeat, overspend, and end up sick and tired when it should be a time of fun and joy. So I hope that after today's episode, it'll bring you some ideas to make this holiday season a fun one. But even more than that, I want to offer you ideas how to stay healthy and how to stay on your plant-based healthy diet during this crazy time of year. So many people just go off their diet and then the new year comes and they have all this weight to lose, or they feel so tired and run down and they have no energy, or they've had a flu and a cold already. But it doesn't have to be like that. So let's talk first about some of the common things that happen during the holiday season. I'm going to list 5 of them first, and then we'll go over each of them in much bigger detail. So number 1, lack of sleep. Yes, we get less sleep because we're busy with social parties or work or family obligations, not to mention shopping, cooking, and all of that is in addition to our already existing daily schedule. Number 2, overeating. Yes, we eat too much, and that's easy to understand why. Just too many parties and social events. And what's the holiday season without great desserts, right? Number 3, overstressed. That's pretty easy to understand why. We have presents to buy if you have kids, or if you have work-related gifts to buy, or family. And there's so much more on our plate this time of year. We just get plain old stressed out. And you know, stress weakens the adrenals, and that can make so many anxious and worried. Okay, challenge number 4, sticking to your plantarian diet. Yes, your plant-based or vegan diet. And you know that's not easy sometimes because many parties don't have much you can eat. This is a big one. We'll talk about it. And the last challenge that we'll talk about is number 5, no personal time to recharge. Okay, now let's go over each of these. We're going to begin with lack of sleep. Lack of sleep is really a challenge because when we don't sleep, life is really so different. I've been a great sleeper all my life, except when I had migraines. And it's funny because as a longtime sufferer with migraines, I can tell you that lack of sleep was a trigger for me. Yet when I got them, I couldn't sleep either. And when I took that aspirin, it helped, but the caffeine made it impossible to sleep. So then it's really a vicious cycle. But that's how I know how bad you can feel when you don't have sleep. I can't imagine how hard life is for those of you out there that have chronic sleep issues. Oh my God, let's fix that, okay? Good sleep is a must. We'll talk more about that in depth in the future shows, but for today, I want to keep it focused on how to get enough sleep during the holiday season when we're spread so thin. So here's some tips. First, be willing to say no sometimes. You can't go to every party, every dinner invitation, and every kids and office event. No, you can't. That's a crazy idea. So sit down and put down on paper what events you can attend and which ones you may have to say no to. And if you're feeling obligated to go to any of those, then say no. Please, your health is so much more important, and one night of a good sleep and a hot bath is worth $1 million. And that's going to make your next day so much more productive. So you're going to see that it pays off to say no at times when you need more rest. Then try taking a hot bath with Epsom salts that you've sprinkled 10 drops of lavender oil in, or add a bath bomb ball, one of those things that fizz, and just relax and lay in your tub for 15 minutes. Nothing beats a hot bath. Turn down the lights if you can, and if not, turn them off and light a candle, and bring your iPad in and play some very soft music. Music that allows you to float away for a few minutes while you're in your tub. You need to be able to get yourself and your nervous system calmed down. A hot bath with Epsom salts and lavender oil is a great preparation for a good night's sleep. Next, if you can't sleep, take some homeopathic remedies or herbal remedies that can aid your sleep. We can take a product that's homeopathic called Calms Forte. You can buy that online, I think at even the Amazon store, but you certainly can find it at a health food store. Or try some herbal remedies like passion flower drops or valerian root tincture or drops. Or many of them make a combo with both of those in there. You can also try melatonin spray. I like the one by Source Naturals. I like that spray better than the pills. And lastly, calm yourself down with 10 minutes of breathing, and try to spend some minutes to prepare yourself for sleep and clearing your head. And remember that hot baths prepare you for sleep, so after your bath, try to time it so that you can just climb right in bed and be relaxed enough to go right to sleep. Okay, now let's talk about overeating. Yes, this is the big challenge during the holidays, because many times we're not even hungry, but then we're at dinner and we have to eat to be polite. Well, if you know you're going to have to go out that night, then do the morning and afternoon with only juices or a salad, and try to be hungry when it's time to leave. But the problem is sometimes we have a lunch party and then a dinner one in addition. Now that's a challenge, but you know what? You still can manage. If you're eating out at a restaurant, you can order a side salad with dressing, or just order a few side dishes of veggies and a soup. And if you really want to splurge, then go ahead. Order big, but only at one of those meals and events, not at both. It's a balancing act, you guys. If you have a big day of eating, then you need to do only soup for lunch and dinner, or a smoothie, or something really light like a juice, or maybe no food. For every big meal you eat, try to find another meal that you can either fast or eat light, like a soup, salad, or a juice instead of a whole meal. That way your weight will stay in check and you can still enjoy the good food. I say if you're going to cheat, then have some fun and eat some good foods, but make sure they're healthy vegan options and balance them out with some meals with no food or some days of water fasting till dinner. And then you can really enjoy the holidays, because it's the overeating at too many meals that puts us behind the 8 ball. If you play the balance game, you can stay ahead and you'll have some treats, some desserts, and you'll enjoy the holidays without feeling so restricted and gaining all that weight. Okay, next, don't snack. Try your best now not to snack, because December's a month where we're all going to get too many calories. Too many offers to eat out, too many meals that have higher fat or contain foods that we don't normally eat so much of. So don't add to that with a bad habit of snacking. This is where we really need to have a lot of willpower and self-control. No snacking. And the next idea is drink lots of water. Carry that water bottle around and drink if you're hungry. But chances are you're not going to be hungry because we're overeating. But just keep drinking water because it'll maybe make you pass up a meal. Because that's the challenge this month, is trying to pass up some meals because we're being offered too many of them. I'd really love to recommend that you guys do an early 3-day water fast. That just gets you detoxed and ready for December so that when you eat too much, you have a little bit of leeway. So think about that. A 3-day water cleanse this week, early December, just to prepare you. You think you can do it? Come on. If you can't do that, just do juices or soup broth or something warm. It's a great jumpstart for the holidays. And for sure, you're going to be ready for a fast or a cleanse and more of a commitment to detoxing after the New Year's. But doing this little one now brings you a lot of energy and preparation for the holidays. Another little tip is not to be shy to leave food on your plate if you're at someone's house. If you're out, take a doggy bag home and freeze it for another meal. My biggest advice to everyone, but it's the hardest thing to do in the holidays, is stop eating when you're full, not when your plate is empty. So if you can learn to be mindful of eating only when you're hungry and stopping when you're full, you'd feel so much better. So during this holiday season, try hard not to eat everything served and be happy with a smaller portion of good, vegan, yummy food. So the next big holiday killer, overload of stress. This one's easy to see why it's a challenge, right? But I want you to understand what is happening to your body under stress. Basically, we all, well, I'm pretty sure most of us, work too much, eat too much, worry too much, have too much responsibility with family and finances, and sleep too little. This is a prescription for disaster, guys, commonly known as burnout. Do you know what burnout is? Yep, that's your adrenals. There are stress glands. They sit right on top of your kidneys, and they're the fuel for our body. I used to tell my patients, the thyroid is like the engine, and the adrenals produce the cortisol, which is the fuel for the engine. There's so much more involved in the endocrine system because there are so many more hormones, all the way from the pituitary to the thyroid to the female hormones to the male hormones and finally to the adrenals that produce cortisol. But when we're stressed, we're just pumping more and more cortisol. At first it feels good, kind of like we're high and wow, we're getting a lot done on very little sleep. But then little by little, we crash because we can't sustain this mode of pumping cortisol into our body all the time. That was made only for an emergency, for like when we need to run for our life. That's called fight or flight response. In a fight or flight response, the blood gets pushed away from the digestive system and directed to the muscles. That allows us to be able to run faster than ever before. The sympathetic nervous system sends out impulses to glands and smooth muscles and tells the adrenal glands to release epinephrine, which is adrenaline, and norepinephrine, which is noradrenaline, and it tells us to release that into our bloodstream. These are called stress hormones, and they cause several changes in the body, including an increase in heart rate and blood pressure. And once your adrenals do this for too long, they crash big time. And it takes so much work to bring them back. You gotta realize this. And I know many of you out there think you're not burned out or that you have lots of energy, but most people are coffee drinkers. And coffee is what we call a nervine stimulant. Well, a nervine stimulant causes a direct stimulation of the nervous system. And by the way, this reaction is not one that's very often needed in our modern times. Our world is filled with children and adults with hyperactivity. The thing we need more in today's modern times is to stimulate the body's innate vitality with the help of adaptogens. Do you know what adaptogen is? You'll hear adaptogen teas and adaptogen supplements. An adaptogen helps things come into balance. It doesn't matter if it's high or low. So in the case of adrenals, if you're pumping too much cortisol, it can calm them down. And if they're crashed, then it can bring them energy. So they work by augmenting the harmony of the body, and thus they have a much deeper and longer lasting effect. Okay, so now back to coffee. Coffee, due to the caffeine, so yes, tea too, but coffee is much higher in caffeine. And now think of these high caffeine energy drinks. Oh my God, yikes. This is a prescription for disaster. But anyway, caffeine, and especially coffee, because millions of Americans live on coffee. So coffee and caffeine is a nervine stimulant that ramps up the nervous system. So you can see what I'm saying, right? We need to calm our nervous systems more than amp it up. So to me, choosing calming herbs for our nervous system rather than stimulating ones is the smart choice. The ones I mentioned earlier for sleep, passion flower and valerian root, are calming herbs. There's also chamomile tea, that's a calming herb. But coffee is amping up the nervous system, and in the end, you're killing your adrenals. Totally adrenal burnout from coffee. But the adrenal glands are an important part of sleeping well, feeling well, and staying healthy, and we can have energy on our own without an aid like coffee. If you want to know what your true state of adrenals is, you guys, then don't drink any coffee for 3 weeks and see what your energy feels like then. And if you're not planning on stopping your coffee, then at least you should take an adrenal adaptogenic herb tonic to aid those poor adrenal glands. For now, just get through the holidays and then maybe work on cutting out your coffee or your caffeine little by little. And find a nice herbal replacement while you slowly let your body come off the caffeine. Okay, how else can we manage stress during the holidays? How about making it a gift to the family and splurge and order meals delivered to your door that are organic and plant-based? There are so many services out there that do that now. Just Google vegan or plant-based meal delivery service in your area, or put that in Yelp and find one. It's a great gift to everyone, as it's such a time saver, and yet you won't sacrifice quality when you feel not enough time to cook, which is a biggie in this month of December. I love this idea if you guys are feeling overextended and short on time to cook healthy meals. And sometimes expensive things are worth it in times when you feel the other option is to get run down and sick and tired. So to me, this is a gift that's well worth it if you feel overextended. Another way to manage our stress is that we can cut down on shopping. Instead of buying for everyone in your family, you can just pull names. Each person puts their name on a piece of paper, puts it in a bag, and pull out the name of one person to buy for in your family instead of buying for everyone. That gets so expensive. And instead of gifts for your friends, meet them for lunch or have them over for a wonderful vegan meal to say how much you love them. You can make a batch of delicious cookies or a big pot of chili, and you can put it in an inexpensive pot with a bow on it, or a plate that you can even buy at the 99-cent store or Marshall's. You can also make a gift of Epsom salts with your favorite essential oils dripped onto them, and then put them in a really cool container and give them with a candle. That's a great present. You know, there's so many homemade gifts you can do, but that's only if you have time. Many of them, though, can be fast and easy. And if you don't want to make your gift, then think about buying a subscription, maybe to Homeopathy Today, which is a great homeopathic magazine that teaches everyone about how to use homeopathy in their daily life. Or how about to Veg News, which is the vegan magazine? That would be cool. And if you don't want to do any gift or spend any money at all because you can't or you just don't want to, then how about just making a date with your friend and go on a hike and you bring the picnic lunch? That's fun because it gives you a day to share together, and you're bringing a cool vegan lunch and you can just sit there out in the nature and have a great time. Those are the best presents of all, I think. And if you do have a little money to spend or you need to buy something for the special person in your life, then you can do gifts that are an experience instead of a thing or a material thing. Like maybe you meet them or you buy a gift certificate or you meet them and go with them to a Korean massage clinic and you have a foot massage or a body massage. You can not really do it together, but kind of, and then you can have lunch afterwards. Yes, it's still spending on a gift, but it's one you can enjoy and you'll love, and it's not like something you have to stash away in your house or give something where they're going to go, what am I going to do with this? So when you buy an experience that's relaxing and you do it with them, then you too get to relax. These kind of gifts are really nice because most people don't do these kinds of things for themselves, and I think they really appreciate that. There's lots of experience things you could do for gifts, but I always like the ones that are healthy and relaxing. But my first advice is to always let go of the gift exchange. That's not what the holidays are about, and you're going to enjoy the holidays much more when you have time to spend it with your friends, enjoying good conversation around a table filled with good food. Try having a vegan potluck. That's the best way to enjoy the holidays. I have one. I call it the vegan mingle jingle. And what better way to enjoy the holidays than share delicious vegan food with all your friends sitting around the table? That's just the best. And this is what the holidays are all about to me. So try to cut back on your gift exchange or stop it. Now, of course, if you have children or you want to buy for that very special person in your life, your partner, your husband, or your wife, then that's understandable. But try to do something creative where you don't have to go broke over it. Try to do an experience or make something. Just do something really fun and unique and healthy, and yet doesn't make you go broke. Okay, and the very last challenge on our list today is taking time to recharge and giving ourselves some me time during the holidays. This is a big one. I know it seems like there's no time to have your me time, but there is. Learn to say no once in a while, you guys. You just need to sneak off for a hike in nature. And if you can say no to one or two things, guess what? You can escape and go in nature. Go by yourself, sit under a tree, and just close your eyes and sit still. Okay, you can hug the tree. That's even better. But sit quietly and listen to all the sounds in nature and just breathe. Just breathe in, and with every breath in, just feel all the goodness and the joy coming into you. And with every breath out, just feel all the toxins going out and all the stress going out. And sit there for 20, 30 minutes if you can. If you can only do 15, still go. If you're somewhere warm, then go to the beach. But get into nature to recharge. It's a must. And guess what? It's the cheapest therapy of all and the best. So if you combine that with your hot bath filled with herbal goodness, oh my gosh, then you're set for the next days. And remember, since we overeat, and it's great to fast for a few days or for some meals, so when we let go of a meal, guess what? That gives us an extra hour or maybe even 2 to do something for ourselves. So skip lunch and drive to a park and walk, or skip dinner and go get a foot massage. Don't say no to a bath because you're too tired. You can be tired and not sleep well, but after a bath, you're always going to sleep much better. And don't forget to ask for help. Teach your kids how to help you and thank them when they do. Have them cook with you and make the gifts with you and make it fun for them. And once you teach them how to help you, then you'll be able to slip away more often into a bath while they make the meal. Right? Yes. And also it's good to train them that Christmas is not all about spending money and buying gifts. It's about making things and making recipes and cooking together. They'll learn the true meaning of Christmas just by sharing it with you. So that's another gift you're giving to them. And another great thing is to make a date with your partner for something special every few days or weeks during the holiday season. The goodness and joy should be shared with those you love the most. Ask them what they love about the holidays and then surprise them. crawl under a warm blanket together and curl up and watch a great movie sipping on some hot cashew milk hot chocolate. Yum! Or some hot cocoa with added powdered mushrooms to boost your adrenals and your immune system, especially during this stressful time. Eat breakfast in bed together. It's the little things that make the holidays great, not the expensive gifts. And make a point to have lots of special little things you share with your partner during this great time of year. Lastly, you need to remember to take some immune-boosting herbs to prevent getting sick. Some good immune-boosting herbal ideas are mushroom elixirs, plant sterols, or herbs like olive leaf and oregano oil capsules. They're great to take along with your adrenal adaptogenic that I mentioned. You have to stay healthy to enjoy the holidays. This is a must. And if you follow many of my tips, I promise you're going to look back and say, that was the best holiday season ever because I enjoyed it the most. And remember, joy is the emotion with the highest vibration. And 'tis the season of joy, you guys. So do it in a way you can enjoy it and be filled with joy at the same time. Well, you guys, I'm going to sign off for now. I've so enjoyed the year with you guys. I love my every Wednesday with all of you. Please write and let me know your thoughts on how you've liked the show and what you've learned and how you feel about me doing the schedule change. I'm really curious about how you feel. Ultimately, I know I have to do it in a way that I can maintain my own healthy life and in a way that I know I can fit it into my life. So I'll always do it the way that I need to for my own health. But I'm still really curious about how you guys feel about this. And as I said, I won't be doing any interviews during December, but I'll be back in January. It's likely I'm going to take December off completely, but if I get a chance, I might come and do a little 15-minute, say hello, talk about some news, and give you a little recipe or something like that. But just in case I don't do that, then I'm off until January, so I just want to wish you all a very happy and joyous holiday season. I look so forward to more Vidal Speaks episodes and time with you guys. I look forward to helping more people in the world and giving more of my knowledge to all of you. I want to help millions. You guys know that. And you're going to help me because you're going to get better, and then you're going to tell other people all this information, and they're going to get themselves better. It's a grassroots movement. I love that about this work. And I look forward to doing some teaching and cooking videos and having a group that we can connect on. But I'm only one, and as I said earlier, up until now, this show is totally financed by myself except for the few donations that I've received. So if you feel up to it and you can afford it, you know I'd appreciate any financial help. This is the month that I plan to set up my Patreon account, as I said. So when we come back in January, I'll talk to you all about that, and maybe you can make a commitment to help support the show. There's so much I want to do for you guys. It's a lot of work, I know, but I love it. And I do know that I have to keep help healing the world. That's one thing I'm very clear about. But I have plans. Even if it's little by little, I'll get there, I promise. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the show today, my podcast family. Now, for sure, you must know what time it is. Yep, it's time to say goodbye. So ta-ta for this year. And please have a great holiday season. For those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. I'll miss you. Vidal has spoken. Remember, you heal with a plant-powered diet, homeopathy, and detoxing, of course. Peace and happy holidays. Be healthy. Be free. Live life.